As you have observed from our animation, despite the two characters taking the same paths in life, one of them ended up living on the street while the other did not. In our animation, we decided to attribute this split in life circumstances to their childhood upbringings. One of the boys was fortunate enough to be born into a middle-class home with the right support system and financial means to save himself from drug addiction. The other boy was not so fortunate and ended up developing addiction that resulted in a downward spiral of debt, depression, and social isolation. It is from this familiar narrative that we established our central argument for the project. We argue that homelessness is not a reflection of one's life choices, despite society creating an impression that it is self-inflicted. It is in fact a result of neoliberalism. Homelessness is simply defined as an absence of a place to live. Approximately 235,000 Canadians experience homelessness each year. The number of homeless people and the length of time they spend homeless is continuing to rise. Despite the root cause of homelessness being poverty, there are many other factors that weave into this. These include poor physical or mental health, violence or abuse in the home, to name just a few. This ultimately means that anyone can become homeless regardless of your current financial situation. In the neoliberal society we live in today, there are those that benefit from the capitalist society and those who fall victim to it. Invisible to most who pass them by, each person has a personal story about how they fell through society's cracks and ended up homeless. We must acknowledge this if we want to see any societal change. Most people find it hard to look at a homeless person on the street. They prefer to stare straight ahead and pretend that the hungry, damaged and lonely human being simply doesn't exist. Refusing to even make eye contact with a homeless person is hardwired in the masses, and talking and listening to their stories is simply out of the question. Society focuses on the individual as the cause of his or her own state of homelessness, blaming the victim rather than focusing on the larger social and economic forces such as unemployment, limited affordable housing, and breakdowns in kinship networks. Social stigma occurs in situations where there is unequal social, economic, and political power, and there is an opportunity to label, stereotype, separate, lose status, and discriminate. Stigmatization is due in part when people feel threatened by another group. Society characterizes people who are homeless as no longer useful or functional members of capitalism, since they do not actively work and support the system. So what can be done to reduce the stigma? What can we do in our lives to help combat the negative perceptions and judgments of those who are homeless? Although as a society it's extremely difficult to end homelessness and poverty altogether, there are a number of powerful ways we can challenge the stigmatization of homeless, which should aid their empowerment, social justice and inclusion. 1. Know the facts. Understand that homelessness is not a result of poor life choices and it can happen to anyone. 2. Educate others. Pass on your knowledge and positive attitudes towards people on the streets. Encourage others to challenge stereotypes that label homeless people as criminals, drug addicts, dirty, etc. And instead, teach them that every person has a different unfortunate story, often completely out of their control. Finally, get involved. Donate a bag of groceries or food, sort out old clothes and take them to your local clothing bank. Volunteer at soup kitchens and warming shelters. Get involved in your local community and help advocate policies that support the homeless. In the words of Mother Teresa, at the end of life we will not be judged by how many diplomas we have received, how much money we have, how many great things we've done. We will be judged by, I was hungry and you gave me something to eat. I was naked and you clothed me. I was homeless and you took me in.